I wonder, Mr. Williams, if you might say a word to us. And I deliberately don't want to color this question much more, but I wonder if you might say a word to us about the power that music is pregnant with to help us connect and even at times revel in the humanity of the character. And I think that I don't purport to speak for everybody in this room, but I think I can on this one, which is to suggest that when we see film, the films that work best for us are the films where we can connect to the humanity in the character.
It is a magic. And an evening like this, it isn't a bad idea to quote Alfred Hitchcock, who said, I don't think exactly word for word, but in film, music represents the words that cannot be spoken. Mm-hmm. And music unites entire peoples. It unites entire religions. Its power is very great. I don't think any of us really fully understand how it works. Leonard Bernstein in his lectures would tell us all the universality of harmony, the overtone series and so on, which many people will understand. But a do is a do and a soul is a soul. Wherever you are in the world, the division of sound is in nature, and it is applied like gravity to every human being. And so even though harmonic vocabulary from one culture to another differs, and there's a certain acculturation that takes place with a certain progression of harmony, if it's Wagner and so on, that we respond to. People outside of the languages may not quite respond in the same way. Yeah. But it is true, and Bernstein was trying to demonstrate always, where Noam Chomsky was trying to demonstrate universalities in language, like the word mama. Mm-hmm. There are tremendous universalities in music, as he explained to us. My attempts to try to support these films and reach people through what they hear is mostly really an intuitive thing, and the application of the modulatory structures of music and so on, and manipulations, if you like. I mean, composing for me is really like sculpting. I mean, you really take a chunk out of the stone, another chunk, and finally it reveals itself. What's inside the stone we didn't know when we began. We will find it. We are not always as successful as, but in my case, of course, we talked a half an hour or so ago about the orchestra. The expressive power and performance of music is also another great thing. You and I chatted about our mutual friend Jessie Norman earlier in the evening. Mm-hmm. Well, Jessie would take the stage and she would unite everyone in the audience with her art, with her training, with her voice, with her gift. And Gustavo is a magician. He will conduct the whole Mahler cycle without a score, the whole Beethoven cycle without a... If I would study Mahler for 700 years, Gustavo, I couldn't do that. This is an extraordinary gift. People, and there are those among us with these kinds of very, very special, unique gifts.
You used two words a moment ago, and I want to ask a question. I'm only being half or part silly with it. But you used the word intuition and manipulation just a moment ago. I wonder, given this immense gift that you have, whether or not you ever feel guilty the way you manipulate our feelings, the way you evoke out of us, since we're talking about evocation, the way you evoke out of us what you want. It's a wonderful gift, but you really play with our emotions, man. You ever feel guilty about that?
Well, maybe manipulate was not a well-chosen word. Maybe the exercise of a certain craft might be a better way of putting it. But I think we may have, in certain scenes, a genuine emotional target.
Right.
Where we want to touch people in a certain way, an aggressive way or a gentle way, a soothing way, a healing way. All of these things will be in your mind. If it's to be healing, what does that?
Yes.
So much of a process of how we learn our language, our general education and acculturation and so on, all of these things are all linked together. And all of us who work in communication, which is what music is really all about, right, essentially deals with finding connections. I always think I would stop by just saying, it isn't the music, it isn't the orchestra, it isn't the composer. It's the connection of, or the audience. It's the connective link, the nexus, the linking of all of that together. Composer, I'm just a guy who puts dots on the paper. It means nothing. Gustavo conducts orchestra, plays it, the audience hears it. It is this interconnection of all of these elements that makes music music.
I'm watching my time. I'm going to move on, but just between the two of us, nobody's listening, just between you and me. But there have to be moments when you're sitting at your desk or your workstation, wherever you work, when you write something, you say, I'm going to kill him with this one. I'm going to get him with this one. When they hear this, oh God, the tears. Between the two of us, you've had those moments, haven't you, John Williams?
I honestly,
Come on, man, keep it real, keep it real.
put it this way, there are moments when I'm more secure than other moments.